G'day everyone, and welcome back to Derriere Farms with me, Farmer J. Today we're going to be talking, especially for those that are new to Farming Simulator 22 and Precision Farming 22, we're going to be talking about grass, because growing it does vary from the base game. For those of you familiar with grass and the way it grew in Precision Farming 19, you might also want to stay tuned because there are a few, if you haven't already discovered them, subtle differences and ways to boost our yield. We also want to know, or I want to know, I've read a few reports say it's not, so I want to double check. I want to see how grassland rollers work with precision farming. These are new, they weren't in Precision Farming 19. So stay tuned for that. Giants also had a podcast today where a portion of it was dedicated to precision farming, and even though it wasn't the developers talking, it was the community team. They did mention there is going to be a patch for precision farming or / update coming in the near future. I guess it's an update as opposed to a patch because it's not base game. And they will be correcting a few things as people have reported certain bugs. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and have the notification bells turned on so you are aware when future videos come out. The next video I'm going to hopefully release tomorrow is going to be an interesting one. But I'll let you wait till tomorrow to see that one. And what that one's all about. Alright, I'm just pause the game so I can get things ready. Actually, I'll unpause it for a second. So, let's start with grass. As you can see, we're in the smallest, one of the smaller fields on Aubé-Laurent, just to check out grass. It is at the third growth stage. I always recommend, even in base game, now that they've added this extra growth stage, wait till it gets to this level. Don't harvest it at after the second month. Wait till you get to the third month because you get extra yield. Secondly, as you can see, we have a perfect pH level and a perfect nitrogen level. And as we move to different types of soil, we also have gone up from an 89% yield to 125. So that's the maximum we can get in the game. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the mower out and mow the field so that we can see what changes in terms of the field, and also if it changes our environmental score. For the record, right now this field is sitting at an environmental score of 99. That's field 40. I don't know why it's down one point. Everything was done properly, but I'm missing a point somewhere. So I want to see what changes. Alright, I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm going to set a helper off on mowing this grass, and I'm just going to talk about grass for a second for those of you that are new to the game and haven't perhaps figured it out yet. Grass is probably one of the most valuable crops in the game, or it was. Because A, you need it for your animals, and B, as silage, if you have excess grass, it can be sold to the BGA at a huge profit. It's even better at making silage than corn is, because you could harvest grass, if you're playing with seasonal cycles, you could harvest grass 3 times a year, whereas you could only harvest corn once a year. I will link that video in the topic or I will link it up top in a second. So as you can see, pretty much nothing has really changed. The textures are still the same. This field was planted the same way as you normally plant grass. The only difference is it got its full layer of fertilizer at planting time. We didn't have to apply fertilizer twice because it was planted while seeding. Yeah, I was the one that blocked it. Alright, let's take a quick look at the field. As you can see, our nitrogen level has dropped from 200 to 20. So we've got a really bad nitrogen situation right now. And our pH level has also dropped slightly. Apparently, this will be changed a little bit. Again, in the update. I can't remember exactly what they said, but it said one covering of manure should be able to be enough to bring grass back up to its maximum pH level. Or, sorry, its maximum nitrogen level. I'm not going to edit that out. I just keep talking. So to me, that indicates they are either going to increase the amount of nitrogen left over after harvest, or they're going to reduce the total amount of nitrogen that is required by grass. Now, in the game, the required nitrogen is 200 kilograms a hectare. That's pretty much on par with corn. And I can tell you from my experience as a farmer, we never put that much nitrogen down on our grass fields. It was never the equivalent of corn. Okay, so let me go ahead and bale the field. We'll see how many bales we get, what the economic analysis says it's worth. I'm not going to turn it into silage because really, I'm not going to bother. And then I will bring you guys back in for the follow-up. And as a bonus, I just remembered, as I had my map window open, there is a fantastic new mod out that's called the Teleport. Let me see what it's called. It's under Tools, I believe. Yeah, the Teleportal device. And basically what it allows you to do, I recommend anyone get it, is you can place it strategically around your farm. That's so if you have a field that's a long way away with nothing around it, this is probably a bad example because there are two fairly close, but I just hit it and it teleports me all the way over here. So I can, without having to drive, I can move around my farm fairly easily. And yeah, it's just a really good time saver. I have a vehicle here right now I can jump to, but I will probably put a teleportal device along here somewhere so I can jump to the edge here. Anyway, enough of that. Back to baling. Right, before we start rolling and seeing what that does for us, I got 15 bales, which is 86,420 liters, so I'm going to say 86 times 550 because the average price of a bale of silage, not grass but silage, is silage is $550 per 1,000 liters. Anyway, that gives us a total of $47,300 for the field. So yes, turned into silage, you can see how it is still very profitable. And it hasn't affected that environmental score. We're still at 99. Let me try rolling. And let's get out and check. It's given us the fertilization color, but it's done absolutely nothing for our nitrogen levels. We're still at the same as we would be over there. Okay, so that answers that question. Grass rollers are now totally useless. What is worth your time, though, is mulching the field. Now, I know nowhere in the documentation does it say mulch the field, but we know from base game that mulching gives us a 2.5% increase. And yes, this is a modded mulcher. So let's go ahead and we'll start mulching. I believe it's the same width as now. This isn't going to do anything for our fertilization state, but as you can see from here, it's not going to give us one. It will give us one over here. It gives us 93% expected yield out of 125, whereas we're down to 66% here. And that's different soil. Okay, that explains that. But yeah, it definitely gives us a 2.5% yield. All right, let's take a quick look at the economic analysis before we go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fertilize the field after mulching and liming. I like to lime after every harvest because it maintains a perfect pH value, and you only put down a little bit as opposed to having to put down almost a trailer load depending on the size of your field if you wait for every 3 harvests. So here we are. Fields mulched, limed and fertilized, and I'm standing in the spot right now where we tried to use a roller and it didn't mulch, and we're at 123% out of a potential of 125%. If we move down a little bit, you can see we're at 125% of 125%. So mulching does give you that little bit of an extra bonus, which probably covers the cost of. We only spent, well, labor and everything else, we spent $848 on input costs for bringing the grass field from harvest to fertilizing again. So yeah, I'd say mulching makes a difference, especially once it gets turned into silage. Remember that $40,000 we had? Well, you still get 10 or 15% added onto that if you have a good environmental score. As far as the economic analysis goes, that's something else Giant said they're going to look into, or the community relations team, because a lot of people have been reporting, as I have, that this value here, $3,888, makes no sense. I looked it up. Grass is selling for $127 a bale, or 1,000 liters. So it should be, let me just open my phone again. We still should have got $10,000 from the field. So was that grass or was that hay? Yep, it was grass. So don't forget, the grass business is a great business to be in. Now, since this channel was founded on a pun for farming name, I'm going to end each video with a farming joke. What do you call a cow with no legs? Ba-dum-bum. Ground beef. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and we'll see you next time.